SimLicy here. So today I'm back with another apartment renovation video, and this time it is a glamour rock style apartment. Not necessarily like glamour rock like you may think of like hair metal or 80s bands or something like that. It's just what I had in mind was a girl rocker who is quite glamorous and maybe a little bit vain or into herself or something like that. Just super girl, not necessarily girly girl, because I still think she's like kind of hardcore, but she's very feminine, and yeah, I tried to reflect that style in an apartment. Because I haven't done an apartment or any other build for that matter that's been centered around a musical sim, so that's something I really wanted to do. And I also wanted to do a loft because I really wanted to do a loft penthouse, and I went and tried to build a penthouse, and I had struggle. I don't know how to make them look good. I don't know what I'm doing, so eventually I will have one and I will share it with you guys. That's what I really want to do, is build a penthouse, and I want to build an industrial loft penthouse. And I just can't get it to work, so I will keep trying. Another day I will work on it, but today this is what I have. And I really like doing these apartments because they are quick to do, and they get a shorter video put out, you know, and it's just, I can do a lot more of them than doing bigger builds, because bigger builds obviously take a long time, and I usually have to break them up between a couple different days because of how long they do take. But yeah, so I really like the way this turned out. It's pretty crazy, and I was struggling with it for a long time whether or not it looked right, because like I said, mixing the industrial with the glam I wasn't quite sure about, and what colors to use, but I think I make it work in the end. I do use a lot of red, but not as much as I was trying to use initially. Like, I end up getting it a lot more toned down. So yeah, I think it looks good in the end. And I did play test it. Like, the sim was able to play on the keyboard, was able to eat and use the karaoke machine, and I think all the important things. I even tested out the vanity table that I put in the bedroom. So she had no problem that I could find using anything. And then yeah, it looks pretty cool. I don't know, I'm having a lot of fun with apartments. I really enjoy decorating them, because I have such a hard time with interior decorating, and I like apartments so much because that's all I focus on while I'm doing it, and I just try out different things. And like with this one, I struggled for a long time whether or not I thought it worked or not, but I just kept going, and it worked out in the end. So that's something that I would give as advice for like a builder. If something's not looking right, but it's something that, you know, you have an idea in your mind, just keep trying, because it'll eventually get there, I'm sure, because it did for me. And like the whole time I was like, oh, am I using the right patterns? Am I using the right colors? Does this look too crazy? Does this make any sense? And you know, it took me a while to really like it, but I think I get there. So I like it, and I uploaded it to the gallery as the first floor and second floor of this apartment. So the first floor is the downstairs, and the second floor is the upstairs. And then I did knock out walls in the bathrooms and on the balcony to be able to upload them each as a room. So I think that deletes the staircase and other things. So it's still annoying, but it works, and it's up there. And if you would like to download it, I think it's in 701 Zenview apartment, if I remember correctly. I did put it in the description of them on the gallery, because I didn't want anybody to be confused on where they belonged. And yeah, I can't quite see it right now, because since the video hasn't been rendered and it's a little bit small for me to see, it's hard for me to read that. But obviously you can see that in the top left-hand corner if I'm correct or not. But yeah, so I love this rug so much. I think it looks so pretty with that flooring and the brown brick. Oh, it's so pretty. I just love it so much. I end up using it in the living room too, and I tried not to. Like the whole time I was doing the living room, I was like, no, I'm gonna use something else, because I don't want to repeat myself, but I had to. It's too pretty not to use. I like it a lot, and it suits the kind of gold accents that I was trying to go for in the apartment. So you'll see that a lot. Like, it's mostly like rich. Like, okay, so there's a lot of, I tried to match the wood colors with the wood door that's on the front door. And then I also wanted to have a lot of black and red, because that's just kind of how I thought this style just would, I don't know, just what I thought with a rock house would look like, or a rock apartment. but I wanted it to be kind of glamorous, so I wanted there to be gold, and yeah. So it's like, it's a total mix of stuff, but it's pretty cool, I think. And I struggled a lot with this bedroom on what bed to use, because I was going to use this one, but the frame of it only comes in wood textures, and they're different shades of wood, and they're like to grays and browns, and there's no like solid black that I thought would look best. So I end up going with the City Living bed that's like the normal cheaper looking bed. And yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. Oh, and I did a headboard thing that I've seen other people do before, where they make kind of like a false headboard with those chairs that came with City Living. So you'll see that in just a minute. And I thought that suited this build quite well. So hopefully you guys like that. It looks pretty cool, I think, and it turns out nice. Once I realized that I need to use a different bed and get it all, I tried using different colors. I just couldn't get it to work. I was like wanting to use that bed, but you know, sometimes the things you want to use aren't always the things that you can use, because they don't look right. But like I said, it works out in the end, and I think the bedroom actually turns out really nice. I end up liking it a lot, and I end up liking the living room a lot too. And that's the room I struggled with the most, because I was having such a hard time with the colors. Like, it was too black, or it was too red, or it was too loud. It was just, but it ends up being kind of warm and comfortable, even though it's like such a harsh kind of design to it. So I have a hard time explaining myself, because I don't know architectural terms. I don't know design terms. I don't know the proper words to use. So I try to explain myself. So hopefully you guys understand what I mean when I am explaining the different things about my builds and my decorating. But this is what I meant with that couch from City Living and using it as a headboard. And I use the pieces of them that sit out. I use them as end tables, and yeah, it looks pretty cool. I think it suits the style a lot, and there's lots of gold. And I sized up those 3 candle holders with the candles in it, and the lights, like the actual flickering fire, doesn't size up with the candles, so there's like floating fire in the air. But that doesn't really bother me, especially when I'm just building. If I was to play in it, I might exchange it for a different item and put the candles somewhere else. But I thought it looked pretty cool, so I left it alone. And I honestly didn't notice till I was taking screenshots. Like, through the whole building, I didn't notice that there was like floating fire in the air, but oh well. Yeah, I think that turns out pretty cool. And then I had a hard time thinking of what to do with the landing area, but I ended up putting a desk here, because of course Sims always need a computer to do lots of different things. So this turned out to be a good spot for it. And I just spent a lot of time going through items and trying to use things that I thought suited this aesthetic, and then also things that I don't normally use, and different colors and things. So it just took me a while. Like, most of the time I think I spent building this, other than doing recolors, was just scrolling through the catalog and looking at the different color options and stuff, and just trying to do something different. So I think, yeah, like I said, I think it came together. I really like it. It's a pretty cool build, and I think I would actually really like to play in this and play with a musical sim, because I don't think that I have really before. Like, I usually kind of go for the artist, which, I mean, a musician is an artist, but I usually go for just the painter. And yeah, and I also would like to try more with the street performing, because I really wonder if you could make a living off of tips doing that, and I haven't seen anybody do that yet. And I think that would be an interesting thing to know, if you could support yourself from just being a musician, because I think you probably still you can still sell your music without being in a performance career and stuff, but just learning, like, upping your skills on the guitar or on the violin. I can think of the word for a second. So I wonder if you did a combination of that and street performing, if you could make a living. I think it's possible. Probably not starting out. You wouldn't be able to start out living in an apartment like this, but you could probably work up to it, especially once you started getting in the royalties and stuff from your music. I think it would work out. So we're finally down to the living room, and this took me forever, because it starts off so black and red, and it just looked like crap. I just hated it so much, and I was like trying to figure out ways to make it look nice with still matching the rest of the apartment. So I think it finally works out, and yeah, I think it looks good in the end. and it just takes me a while to get there. I think I even start working on the kitchen and then go back to the living room, because sometimes that's what you have to do. You just kind of have to step away and go back to it, like, and come with a fresh mind. Like sometimes even with, especially with longer builds, like if I'm doing a large suburban home, like build for a while, go and eat, like even sleep on it, go back to it the next day, and sometimes things work out a lot better, especially if you're starting to struggle and get pissed and thinking about like bulldozing it or, you know, just deleting the whole thing. Sometimes just gotta come back a little bit later. And yeah, so my point is it works out. And I get rid of all that red because it was so overpowering. So I go with white walls, and then I also change the color of the curtains and the furniture. I think I go back to red in the end, but after I tone down all the black of the rest of the furniture, and it comes together, I promise. So if you're concerned or worried about it, because yeah, it just comes together. And I also ended up going with a very industrial style kitchen, which I thought about using black counters, but it seemed to, the industrial counters seem to look good with the flooring and stuff, because like I probably wouldn't have gone with so much wood textures and wood colors in this build if it wasn't for the front door, because I have a hard time using different doors and different, like, not matching it to the door that's used in the apartment. And since we can't change it, I pretty much have no choice. So yeah, I always have struggled with the doors in the apartments and getting them to match and trying to use anything different. But that's me being picky, I think, a little bit. And I really like the dining table. I end up going with like an old style or old wood dining table with these black chairs, and then I use one of the tapestry rugs underneath. And see, I try to use the zebra print. I try to use it like in every room in this house, and it just wasn't working. But I end up changing it to one of the tapestry rugs, and I think it looks pretty cool. So while this isn't meant to be an art, like a painting artist apartment, it's such an artsy build. Oh, and I did that chandelier thing that I did in my last industrial style apartment, where I used those like tin can hanging lights, and I like sized one of them up like 2 times, and then one of them up 1 time, and then one of them I left alone, and layered them together. And I think that makes a really cool industrial chandelier. I like the look of it a lot. It's very pretty. Like I love industrial style so much, and trying out different ways to do it. Like hopefully I'm not being too repetitive for you guys for using like the brick again, but I just am really into it at the moment, and I'm sure I will get burned out eventually, but at the moment I just like it a lot, and I think it's really pretty, and kind of trying just to see what different ways I can use it, because building for me is all like just an art project and a learning experience on how to make things look good, and I don't know, it's just an art project for me. So hopefully you guys like it. And then I really like these countertops a lot because they come with so many different like variations of them with like storage shelves. I really like that a lot. So try different ways to use them, and I think it looks pretty cool. And I really like the way this little kitchen turns out. I think that's probably the same spot the kitchen was in the original build. I didn't look around it too much, but if I remember correctly, that's where it was. So I wasn't very creative with that, but I don't think I could have done probably a little bit different, but there's only so many ways. And to me, it seems weird to walk into a kitchen when you first walk into a build. It seems kind of weird too, because I mean, how many houses do you go into that you walk into the kitchen unless you're like walking in through the back door? Like usually you walk into the living room in some sort of entryway or something like that. So that's why the kitchen is in the back, and plus all the windows are in the front of the build, and that's where you want all the best views to be. You don't want to hide them with cupboards. So, and I took all the screenshots at night because the views are so amazing. I mean, that's one of the best things I think about city living is just all the views. They're so cool. It's so beautiful. And I put a hot tub on the balcony, and I almost forgot about the balcony, but it's like at the very end, I'm like, oh yeah, there's a balcony, I might as well decorate it. So I throw a few things on there, and I put a hot tub, and the views are just awesome. So make sure to check out the screenshots. I don't know if people skip them, but that's like my favorite part is the screenshots. So yeah, make sure to check those out. And then the bathrooms are the last rooms that I do other than the balcony, and they're pretty basic. I don't know why I saved them for the end. I mean, a lot of people don't like doing bathrooms, and I'm usually not that way, and usually I do the bathrooms with like right next to whatever room they're by, like just in order. But for some reason I saved them to the end, and I don't really know why. But oh, and I did a really cool thing on the behind the bathtub in this. So I was watching the Sin Cache do her latest build, and she built like this palace, and I don't remember the name of it, but if you guys don't watch her channel, go check her out, because she is so like innovative and so smart with her like using objects for different things, and they're not necessarily than they're meant to be used for, but just to use them in different ways and kind of layer them up. So she layered up some mirrors over picture frames to make like a new frame for a mirror. And so I do that behind the bathtub, and I think it looks pretty cool. So I really like watching her videos for ideas, and the freezer bunny. Her and him both are just so smart. Like they are so clever with their building, and yeah, so I would definitely watch them if you are at a loss for, I don't know, new ideas and thinking of new things when it comes to building, because they are geniuses. But now we're onto the balcony, and I realized I couldn't color the entire flooring. It would only let me color a piece of it, so I leave it just the plain concrete, and I think that looks fine. And then just add a few chairs, and I thought about adding a barbecue out here, but I figured the sim that lived here wasn't really into barbecuing. It's more for hanging out and looking at the view type area, and probably wouldn't be out here, you know, barbecuing at all. And then I put a little table over here with some candles, and yeah, I just think it looks really nice. So please check out the screenshots, because I think there's some beautiful views you guys should look at. But anyways, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys like this video, and please leave any comments or feedback or suggestions that you have, and I will talk to you guys later. Okay, bye.